Welcome to the Courtroom Chronicles. This channel is dedicated to educational content based on real-life cases and true events. This content shared here is drawn directly from the actual case file, and no names, places, or items have been changed. However, the content has been carefully summarized and presented for educational purposes in a comprehension format to inform, enlighten, and spark meaningful discussions. Whether you're here to learn, reflect, or simply understand the real-world scenarios better, you're in the right place. We believe in the power of truthful storytelling to educate and inspire. Disclaimer: while all stories are based on real cases, they are presented in a condensed and structured format for clarity and learning. Viewer discretion is advised where necessary. This case is cited from the Nigerian High Court online file, which is public record. This is a case between Alhaji Abdulrauf Abdulfatai v. Hilltrust Global Investment Ltd. This case, decided by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Abuja, revolves around a loan transaction between the plaintiff, Alhaji Abdulrauf Abdulfatai, and the defendant, Hilltrust Global Investment Ltd. Factual background: the plaintiff received a loan of 5,000 from the defendant under an agreement, Exhibit 5, which stipulated a 30% flat interest rate with additional penalties for late payment, issuance of dud checks, and interest servicing. The plaintiff provided property documents for Plot 11105, Dawaki Extension Layout, FCT, Abuja as collateral. The plaintiff claimed the loan agreement and interest rates were illegal under the Money Lenders Act. He had repaid more than required, 11,000 in total. He was entitled to a refund of the excess payment and the return of his collateral documents. The defendant claimed the loan agreement was valid and binding. The plaintiff had defaulted and was therefore liable for additional interest and penalties. The plaintiff had issued a dud check and authorized forfeiture of his property. Legality of the loan agreement and interest: the court held that although Hilltrust lacked a valid moneylender's license at the time of the agreement, the plaintiff voluntarily entered the contract, fully aware of this fact, and received the loan. He could not claim the contract was void due to the principle of in pari delicto. Where both parties are at fault, the court will not assist either party in escaping the consequences. Enforceability of high interest rates: despite statutory limits, 15% PA per the Moneylenders Act, the court upheld the 30% flat interest because the plaintiff knowingly agreed to it and benefited from the loan. Redemption of mortgaged property: the court reaffirmed the plaintiff's right to redeem the mortgaged property. It rejected the defendant's attempt to deny redemption despite post-default repayments and dismissed the defendant's unsubstantiated claim of dud check issuance. Counterclaim validity: the defendant's request for reliefs was struck out as it failed to properly file a counterclaim as required by the procedural rules. Judgment summary: plaintiff partially succeeded. Reliefs for declaration of illegality and capped interest, reliefs A, B, C, and damages, G, were denied. Reliefs for refund of $3,925,000 excess payment, confirmation of loan liquidation, and return of title documents were granted. Defendant's reliefs were dismissed due to improper filing. The plaintiff was not awarded general damages due to his own breach of the agreement terms. Who won and why? The plaintiff won partially. The court ruled in favor of the plaintiff concerning repayment, excess charges, and the return of collateral. However, his attempt to void the agreement entirely was dismissed because he knowingly entered the agreement despite the defendant's licensing deficiency. He had already benefited from the loan. The legal doctrine of in pari delicto barred him from using the illegality defense. The defendant lost primarily due to lack of a valid moneylender's license at the relevant time, improper filing of counterclaims, failure to prove key assertions such as the issuance of a dud check. Further legal and practical analysis: how the dispute could have been avoided. Compliance with regulatory requirements: the defendant should have secured a valid moneylender's license before engaging in lending activities. This would have ensured enforceability and protected the business from legal vulnerability. Clear documentation and receipts: proper issuance of receipts and clear accounting could have preempted the plaintiff's claim of excess payment and lack of transparency. Cap interest within legal limits: Adhering to statutory interest limits would have reduced legal risk and potential claims of illegality. Legal advice for both parties. Both parties should have consulted legal professionals before entering the agreement. The plaintiff, despite being a learned person, overlooked critical compliance issues. Proper filing of counterclaim. The defendant should have followed civil procedure rules to formally file a counterclaim, allowing the court to legally assess its claims. In conclusion, this case underscores the importance of legal compliance, clarity in financial transactions, and the consequences of attempting to benefit from contracts while disavowing their legality post-benefit. Thanks so much for watching, fam. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think about the case. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback. And hey, if you felt a connection or learned something new, give this video a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay safe, stay real, and I'll catch you in the next one.